Statistics show so far this year there's been an increase in the number of pedestrians killed in New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland. Some are pointing the finger at drivers, saying they've become too entitled. Ben Rossiter is the executive officer of the pedestrian advocacy group Victoria Walks. He says the issue is a combination of poor road design and driver behaviour.
Pedestrian deaths have gone up this year nationally. There were about 204 died in 2007, went up to down to about 150 in 2013. They're travelling about 175 at the moment. So they do fluctuate year by year, and we won't really know if there's a changed trend until we look at what happens over the longer term. But in Victoria, there's a key thing we know that already, if we look at over the 5 years or so, that 10% of the population are people over 75, but they're 33% of pedestrian deaths. And in this year alone, there are about 45% of pedestrian deaths. So we know that seniors are spiking, unfortunately, in Victoria. It comes down to two things, as research clearly shows. It's poor road design or driver behaviour. The Transport Accident Commission in Victoria looked at crashes with seniors and found they're at fault in only about 12% of crashes. We did some research, or commissioned research, into senior pedestrian road crashes. We found the most common crash scenario is right-turning vehicle, and the second most common is left-turning. And they're both where drivers should be giving way. So intersections particularly are dangerous for senior pedestrians who are doing the right thing and they're hit by drivers who are not. Across the network, we need to reduce the distance that pedestrians, particularly seniors, have to get across roads. We need to make them far more conspicuous, and we need to particularly slow down traffic speed in our residential and high pedestrian areas. Our traffic speeds are very high by international standards when we compare to the countries that do very well for pedestrians and walkers and people. We know that drivers' distraction is major. And let's go back to the seniors. The 45% of seniors, pedestrians who are seniors over 75 years killed in Victoria this year, they're not Snapchatting, they're not Facebooking, they're not updating and tweeting and updating profiles. They're just going about their daily business. So I think we've got to be careful, because often there is a culture of victim blaming. Unfortunately, in Victoria, there was a horrible incident where a 14-year-old girl was killed crossing a road at traffic lights by a hit-and-run truck last week. And some of the media outlets were pointing out she was wearing headphones. That has absolutely nothing to do with it if she was obeying the law, and all indications are she were. An example would be, if a car's hit, stationary car at traffic lights is hit by a vehicle from behind, we don't say, oh, the driver was listening to music or they weren't looking in their rear view mirror. Yet when a pedestrian is hit on a crossing, we tend to look at how they're at fault.